Creek, Colorado, yesterday, Monday, the 18th of November, almost exactly a year after Kelsey Berreth disappeared from Woodland Park. Patrick Frazee, her fiance, was found guilty by a Teller County jury of her murder. After 10 full days full of testimony inside the Teller County Courthouse in Cripple Creek, the 12-person jury determined that based on what they had heard and seen in court, Frazee had indeed committed the crime he was charged with back in December, first-degree murder. In addition, he was convicted of tampering with a deceased human body and 3 counts of solicitation to commit first-degree murder after deliberation. District Court Judge Scott Sells gave Frazee an additional 156 years on several of the 8 charges he was convicted of. Your actions were vicious and senseless. Kelsey spent her last night caring for you. You repay her by viciously beating her to death. Then you burned her body. That's a quote from Judge Sells. Your crimes deserve the absolute maximum punishment, Sells said. The jury deliberated from just after 11 a.m. until around 2:45 p.m. before delivering the verdict. Berreth's father stared down Frazee in the courtroom, then shook his head silently as the judge read the verdict. Frazee did not react when the verdict was read in court. His attorney, Adam Steigerwald, shook his head. Berreth's family smiled, cried and hugged one another in court after the verdict was read. Judge Scott Sells handed down Frazee's sentence shortly afterwards. Frazee received the mandatory life in prison without parole for the 2 murder counts, which were merged. For each of the solicitation charges, he received the maximum 48-year sentence, which run consecutive to one another. And for the tampering with a deceased human body count, Frazee was sentenced to the maximum of 12 years, which also runs consecutively. In total, he received life in prison without parole, plus an additional 156 years. I think it's safe to say he is never going to get out. People in the courtroom cried and hugged as the verdict was read. Frazee stood beside the defense counsel, emotionless, and whispered briefly to his attorney. He did not show a reaction to the verdict. During the sentencing phase, several emotional letters from Kelsey's family and friends were read aloud in court. Frazee said nothing on his behalf. This is without doubt one of the most brutal murders I've ever seen in my 18 years of practicing law, Prosecutor Jennifer Veerman said in the courtroom. Kelsey, 29, was the mother of Frazee's toddler daughter, Kaylee. Prosecutors say that Frazee beat Kelsey with a bat. Her body has not been found. Crystal Lee Kenny, Frazee's ex-girlfriend, whom he solicited to help him kill Kelsey Berreth, has not yet been sentenced. She faces a maximum of 3 years in prison with tampering with evidence. I don't know about you, but I think she got off pretty lightly. She obviously took the plea deal in exchange for testifying against Patrick, but I'll be interested in hearing your thoughts and comments below the video on Crystal Lee's 3-year maximum sentence.